Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of 15 Good Minutes. As always, it's your guy, Coach B, and I'm here with the A-Team. JR, how we doing today, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing good, Got my little procedure done. Everything's good, man, so far.
Awesome. Freddie, how are you today, man?
Outstanding. How you guys doing?
Doing very good, man. Going to have basically just a rapid-fire kind of session today. There's way too much going on for me to focus on any one, so I'm going to throw it out. We're going to get some opinions, and we're going to burn right through it. I'll start with the kind of where we ended last week. NCAA conference tournaments are in full swing right now as we're taping. This is getting released on Friday, which is the last weekend of that. Have you guys been watching any of these different league tournaments? And if so, which ones? JR, I'll start with you.
I was watching Polite today, of course, George Mason game. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, it's good to see.
You got to support him.
Yeah, you got to support him. You know what I'm saying? So I watched that game.
Freddie, you been watching any of them?
I watched a little bit of the ACC. I haven't watched the game tonight, but I watched a little bit of the ACC. I haven't watched any of the SEC yet. I watched a little bit of the Big 12. I haven't watched, the Pac, whatever their name is, or the smaller conferences. I've seen, some of the teams, got their bursts and everything, but I've really paid attention to the Big 12 and the ACC.
Yeah. I think there's been a lot of, obviously for the smaller conferences, like you say, Freddie, it's the only way you can get in, the only way you can get your ticket punched. This weekend is Selection Sunday. So one of the things that we're going to be doing on the show is next week we're going to be releasing a little bit early. So we will tell you at that point, who the three of us have for our Final Four picks and who we think is going to win it all. I'm going to stick with you, Freddie, on this next one. Sticking with college basketball, I got a couple for you. First, Jim Boeheim is out at Syracuse. Your thoughts?
I have none. Hopefully they'll get away from that. What is it, 3-2 or 2-3 zone?
2-3 forever. 2-3 forever, man.
I'm tired of seeing that zone. But Adrian Autry, since he's been an assistant, he might keep it the same way. Who knows? I personally think that they probably should have went in a different direction. I'm not a fan of hiring program guys. I think after 47 years, you may want a new voice, a new direction. Hopefully Adrian Autry does well. But Jim Boeheim, long overdue.
I think to the same point. I mean, I can remember Boeheim back in the 80s, and a little bit of the 70s, 79. In fact, he was innovative and a great coach back then. But I kind of agree with Freddie. The program guys sort of. They may lean away, but it's going to take them slowly to get away.
As we're taping, Patrick Ewing was fired today as well. Your thoughts on that?
I like to support a brother, but I think he was over too. His record was he did what he can do. 68 and 84. How many years has he been there?
I want to say 3. 7? He was actually 75 and 109. If you want to know what his record was, yeah.
75 and 1. That's even worse.
Yeah, he took over in 2017.
What has he been to? NIT and one appearance in the conference, NCAA finals. That's it.
Freddie, your thoughts on Pat Ewing being let go?
Well, I mean, going 7-25 this year.
And and while we're on that, some ugly losses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, 7-25 is bad enough, but 40-point losses, that'll get you shown the door real quick. I just think that he showed a little hope. I think in 2020 in COVID to where they won
the Big East,
and then they made you thought, okay, maybe it's turning the corner. So, but it's just, I don't know if it's coaching style, his lack of coaching. I don't really know whether it's a lack of support from the school. But to JR's point, you would think that he would have a better connection and but just because you played and you was a great player doesn't mean you can coach. So
100%. I agree.
So that could be, it is what it is.
My take on both those. I think with Coach Boeheim, I think while he's innovative, he just got too weird for me the last 5 to 7 years. Too cranky. Always yells at reporters when they lose, but wanted be their best buddy when they win. I think that the school was trying to coax him, if that's the right word, to leave on his own. And based on what I've read today, there's still some animosity. The school's saying that he made the decision. He's saying the school told him it's the decision. Not the way I would want a storied coach to go out. I'm not saying I want him gone because he plays 2-3. I think the game is passing those guys by. We talked about it a little bit last year when we started looking at why guys like Jay Wright, who's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to work for CBS. Coach Williams left, Coach K. I do think that you're going to see guys like Tom Izzo and maybe even Larinaga, depending upon how Miami does in this run. At some point, you're going to see these older guys start to check out. And there's been some, controversy around the Syracuse program over the last few years, assistant getting fired and there was some stuff. So I think it's a good time for Syracuse to find a different direction. I do agree with you, Freddie, though, that I would do a nationwide search right now just to see. It doesn't. If I come back to you as the program guy, that's one thing. But most of these big name schools tend to go program guys anyway. All right, so next one for you, Freddie. I was having an interesting conversation with some folks over the weekend that were really excited. This is going to the NBA for a little bit to watch when Phoenix played Dallas. It was a great game. Then today I read that Kevin Durant's going to be out a few weeks. What I told those guys back then was, I don't think that you can crown Phoenix because I don't know if they can stay healthy and they don't have enough depth. So, Freddie, you've had a chance to see, how Kevin has fit in with Phoenix. What's your take now that he's going to be out a couple of weeks with yet another ankle injury?
Well, I think they're probably playing it safe with him. They know they're probably going to make the playoffs. And I was just watching, when they were playing Dallas, I think it was Sunday, and how they were just picking apart Dallas with Kevin Durant. And it was literally big.
It was fun to watch too.
I was like, okay, and I'm, and so I think, while it's a concern, it's not a concern to me. It's only a concern for me with Kevin Durant and Phoenix if the injuries linger into the playoffs.
JR, your thoughts on it? You think it's pretty much just kind of not necessarily load management, but the fact that he tweaked it, they just want to, hedge their bets a little and rest them?
Yes, I agree with Freddie because, as we said last week or week before, they're playing great ball. What's the sense on messing up things now? If you can get away with a couple of wins, without him and let him rest and make sure he's 100% for the playoffs.
Especially now that you've seen what like Freddie was saying, what it's like when he's in there, right? Yeah. They were fun to watch. Sticking with the NBA, I'll start with you, JR. In the news this week, there was an arrest of what's Sean's last name? Kemp.
Yeah.
Sean Kemp, former Seattle, I can really say Seahawks, Supersonics player, was arrested, but he was released today and no charges filed. So, do we know anything about this story? Does it have any legs on it?
All we know is that there was supposedly a 2-vehicle altercation. Okay,
like road rage kind of thing,
or something to that effect. I don't know exactly, but there was some exchange, and apparently the one car took off after the police came, and all they said was they arrested a 53-year-old man in a park, and I don't understand that part. How do we go from the vehicle to the park?
You haul ass. That's yes. How you get out the car.
They released him, but
they did with no charges.
Possibility. We know where you are. Don't go nowhere.
By now, I guess everybody what's been in the news of the last week or so is the situation with John Morant. They have extended the number of games that he's going to miss. I'll start with you, Freddie. What are your overall thoughts on the situation with John Morant in Memphis?
Utter stupidity, and I think what's going on. If you look at it, I think there's a cultural issue there. Not only, with Ja, but with some of the players, it seems like they always getting into a beef or something. It's like they're trying to portray a certain mentality. And I don't know if that's the mentality of what's going on in Memphis right now as a whole.
I'm just going to, this was I got something to say, but I'm going to say it now because.
Go for it.
I just don't understand all these young guys. It's not like they haven't seen people and players that come before them to get in trouble. Now you make it to the mountaintop, to the peak of the pinnacle of where you want to be, and all you do is piss it away over something stupid, right? If you don't have the right people behind you, I'm not talking about people that's grabbing on your coattails trying to get. You need people to keep you positive.
John's trying to portray himself as some type of made man, some kind of thug. And guess what? He's not. To your other concern, JR, not everybody is blessed or fortunate enough to have strong family members to steer them straight. I read today that Taylor Jenkins, the coach of Memphis, he saw this earlier and attempted on multiple times before it got to this to intervene and was unsuccessful. Now, I don't know if that means that the organization didn't back the coach. Now they're backing him because, Ja's the big meal ticket. And also, like Freddie said, there's just way too much damn talking with that team. But independent of the fact that no one is around him that's taking care of him, JR, I put this squarely on his shoulder.
Yeah.
100%. You willfully brought a gun, apparently to more than one thing, then you're going to own that. And we saw what happened to the Nike deal with Kyrie. When he got jammed up. Ja just got his first shoe going. So if he's willing to piss all that away, I'm hoping that those who look up to him and play with him are paying attention. Carmelo Anthony was doing a spot on somebody's podcast, and he said that these kids better wake up. The NBA knows where you are all the time. They know who you hanging with. They know where you at. They got hundreds of $millions invested in you. You better believe they know this. They got undercover police. They got their own security force. So you ain't getting away with none of this stuff. It's ridiculous, I think, for these young fellas to think that they're smarter than the league. So when you get called into the commissioner's office, it's going to be serious. And I think they're going to give him another shot, Freddie. But I don't think he's going to have a lot of wiggle room with this. You know what I mean? Not in this culture, not in this day and time, and not with the type of issue that we're dealing with in terms of a weapon. But
I think he should be suspended for the rest of the regular season.
Sure.
And that sends a strong message from the NBA, and it resonates with the team, Memphis. Not only Memphis, but every other team.
I was interested today, though, to see that Coach Jenkins laid it out, everything that organization, at least from his staff, has been trying to do. So that tells me they've seen signs. It also tells me that they know some things that maybe three of us don't know, and they try to get in front of it. And he was just like, no, I'm bigger and better than that. Now he knows that he isn't. So we'll stay close to that one, like all the others, and see how they turn out. That's really all we had time for this week. There was so much moving this week and things were happening so fast. I'm glad we were able to table some of these topics. Again, thanks to JR for his first ever I Got Something to Say. That was a good one to break in on. Freddie, you got something to say today, man?
I don't. I could save a lot, but I'm not going to. I'll save it for next week.
Fair enough. I got something to say then, and it's I'm gonna put myself on the clock. You can see I brought the handy dandy watches right here. All right, so I would just like to take a moment, and JR kind of touched on this last week, but he didn't call it I Got Something to Say, so that just left it wide open for me to come in there. I just want to say congratulations to the Largo Lions and to Coach Rodney Ward and that entire staff. I'm wearing the shirt. They lost the state championship game a little while ago, 64 to 57. It was a great game. It was tied at 55 with 2 minutes to go. The last couple of weeks, being able to go to their games, their playoff games, and watch them as they grow and go through this run has just been magical. I think that, like JR said last week, just a big congratulations to the entirety of the program. Even though you didn't win that state title today, the accomplishment is amazing. Like I'm sure is true with JR. I'm still proud to associate myself with that program, even though we moved on from Largo, 6 or 7 years ago. So I got something to say is, congratulations to everybody associated with helping get the Largo Lions boys basketball varsity team to this state title game. And we look forward to big things for all those cats in the months and years to come. With that, that's all we got time for. Like I say, we'll see you guys next week. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying some of this NCAA playoff action. It is really good. We'll let you know what we think, and our predictions are going to be pretty good. We didn't do too bad last year if you think about it, but we'll talk about all that next week. We'll see you guys in. Have a great week.
Later.